everyone. We've had a lot of discussion online regarding the budget, and I know that I'm going to work together. I know I had talked to one of the other council members about possibly bringing forward a video and creating something like this to actually go over the entire budget. So what I'm going to do today is just go over, because there's a lot of conversations going on regarding the police budget. So I actually pulled the budget. So with that, I'm just kind of looking over the budget, and again, this is in the budget. It's actually page 44. And so I'm looking at, again, it's the department, and the police department. It's actually part of the regular budget. So just that way you kind of know where that information is coming from. It's coming directly from the budget. And looking at that, it kind of goes over the salaries. As you can see, there is some cuts in the salary and wages. Some of that is due to, costs that have actually been used. Because if you look at the actual budget, what was actually used, you will see the actuals are more in line with what's being requested this upcoming, because of a lot of it has to do with positions not filled, and then of course there's going to be some reductions in overtime. So to me, as you can see here, actuals versus budgeted, you can actually see it on there. So the overtime, yes, was cut, and again, overtime's only being used when we're having major incidents. I think it's important that our police kind of focus on a lot of the current calls as they're coming in, but necessarily overtime is definitely needed for major crimes and other stuff that's coming on. We have some reverse pay. We really haven't had too much unemployment insurance because, again, we need people at work, so we're happy to have those people at work. But Social Security, retirement insurance, all of that kind of stuff is kind of set. Same even with the uniform allowance. Again, it's based on the union. That's a union negotiated benefit. So there's only so much we can do regarding the union type uniform allowances, which are needed for the police department. So please understand that they do have a certain uniform that we do want them to wear. Definitely don't want them coming in the regular street clothes, especially when they're at work. So the other ones are just going to be general maintenance and operation, and it actually outlines what all of that is on here. As well as different supplies, and then lastly the capital overlay. So that's going to be computer equipment, furniture, training equipment, automotive equipment, auto accessories, public safety equipment. So yes, this year it actually went down. I know last year there was quite a bit of money that we did invest in this police department when it comes to that. So and again, this is going to be on the regular budget that was approved back in June, and you can see the page number right there, so that you kind of know exactly where this information is coming from. It's not information that I'm making up. It's actual information that was approved during a public council meeting, and it's there, and the page number is right there. It was approved back in June, the middle of June, I would say June 12th or on or around that day. So just that way you kind of know exactly this is public information. Again, the police does have the license plate reader, which did create a lot of information when it did help with major crimes, license plates, major crimes, homicides, robberies, and even thefts, especially if you have the license plate. So if your car is in the system, is stolen, and it goes through one of those LPRs, or one of the LPRs that the police are driving by and it triggers, the alarm actually goes off inside the car, which is kind of cool if you haven't done a ride along. That was one thing I thought was really fascinating when I did my ride along with the police department. And then we would just go through and see if that was actually a stolen car or plates were stolen. So it was interesting because it would trigger. So I thought that was nice. Ultimately, we were wanting to increase the LPR, which was a goal of mine. I know they did cut the ARPA funds for the LPRs for the gazebo. I won't get into that. That's a whole separate conversation. There is a video about the gazebo vote, just that way you're aware. I in no force did support that, but that's a whole different topic of discussion. Today we're just going to work on the annual budget, slowly going to come out with different areas. This is the most talked about right now, so I want to make sure I'm addressing this as well in real time. But again, right now we've scanned over 44 million license plates just in the city of Ceres. So that's pretty significant. That gives us some great data about who's driving through, how are they staying, are they visiting certain stores? Like maybe when I used to work in Modesto, I used to come into Ceres to eat for lunchtime. Well, when I knew the community because I lived in it, but I also know we had food options. So that was one thing that was talked about. They're currently working on another school safety grant with the Ceres Unified to provide camera systems in every school. Yes, to actually monitor and actually make a real-time crime center. So our, like right now, dispatch has in our 911 dispatch center, there's actually cameras from the parks that have cameras, which are most of the parks that have bathrooms or electricity, have cameras, and actually our 911 department can actually see that in a live crime. So if we were to increase that, we would actually need a real-time crime center. So with that, that's why we would need that. And that's ultimately their goals are outlined in the budget. So I just want to make sure you kind of know and understand what the budget's about, what's included, what's not covered. And it even goes into the line of work, like who's responsible for who and who replies to who. So just looking at the budget, I just want to let you know, looking at this last page, which again, it looks like the actual 22-23 was just over 15 million. What was budgeted, again, that doesn't necessarily mean it was all used or may not have been used or they used more, was 15.4. So $15.4 million. And then what was requested this year is 15.6 without any capital overlay. So I just want to make sure you're aware that that part of it was cut, and that some of that was because we had made private purchases, and others is because it's going to be coming from grants, hopefully. So that part, yes, was cut. Some of the equipment, furnishings, training, and other equipment doesn't, at this point in time, is not budgeted for repair. We did spend a significant amount of money last year, so I just want to make sure you're aware as to why there appears that there may have been a budget cut or frozen. It was on capital, so it's just buying new furniture or new chairs, or right now we're just trying to cut it down while we see the reduction of about 2 to 3% in our sales tax. So that is significant when it comes to your budget, because you do have to adjust your budget for the amount of money that you have come in. You can't spend more than what you get. So that's one of the areas. When it comes to safety equipment, again, that was reduced a little bit. Again, not significantly. We still have our K9. We actually used 11,000. We budgeted 21 last year, and this year we're budgeting $22,000. So just that way you kind of see when it comes to materials, or that's just the K9 supplies. So that includes their food, doctor visits, that kind of stuff, just to kind of keep them, their vests, and other stuff that they kind of may go through and may need. The liability insurance, again, went up significantly, and we have no control over what insurances want to charge us. We had actually originally budgeted last year $580,000. This year they quoted us $746,000. So again, that's the insurance that we have to have for the officers, and so that's something that's kind of out of our control. We don't really have a way of saying we don't want to spend that much, because we have to. But I just kind of want to give you kind of an overlay of what the budget looks like, how it looked like. This was approved back in June. It is available on the website, so please do not hesitate to look at it. And I'll go ahead and make different videos for different departments, so that way you can kind of get a better understanding of what each area looks like and why each area looks the way that it does. So I hope that helps. Again, this is going to be our police department for the CD series. This is our budget that was approved back in June. All this information is public information, so you can actually go through and verify the information I'm telling you. Thank you.